What's going on, guys? This is Martyrs Brigade 99 coming to you once again with another session of Dark Souls PvP. Alright guys, we're back at it once again with yet another addition to the Battle of the Uploader series. Alright, this time around we have good old Warchild from not only Xbox but also the PS3 console. Now, well, actually, first off, before I start getting into the commentary, let me offer my thanks and show of appreciation to good old Warchild for his interest and participation in the Battle of the Uploader series. Alright, so now that we've gotten the welcome and the thanks all taken care of, let me just give a little information about Warchild in the event that you guys may not be familiar. Now, if you guys just click on that guy's channel, you'll notice that he has over 700 videos. Over 700. Now, this is not to suggest that all of these videos include Dark Souls or any Soul game material. But, you know, despite not necessarily having 700 Dark Souls or Demon Souls videos, he definitely has a crap ton of videos dedicated to both Souls games. Now, like I said before, if you guys were to just go ahead and check out his channel, you guys will notice Battle of the Uploaders, Battle in the Berg. He does fight clubs a lot of times on Fridays, for which he streams, you know, either PS3 or Xbox. He's got New Game Plus challenges. He's got Demon Souls walkthroughs. He's got Demon Souls challenges. I think he even has a New Game Plus 7 challenge. In addition to, he's got the Hunger Games. Like I said before, Battle of the Uploaders. He's got a lot of things going on. And another good thing about good old Warchild, he does commentaries. Now, you know, I don't really like to be biased to people who commentate, you know, but I am. I mean, I can't even front. I'm flat out a little more partial to those who add commentaries than the ones who showcase footage. Now, this is not to make light of anyone who's doing all their hotshot moves and adding it to music. This is not adding, you know, I'm not trying to make light of that. But what I'm saying is, you know, it takes a lot of time and dedication to not only record, not only upload, but to sit here and add commentary to lengthy videos. And if you guys were to check out the channel, for which, you know, I'll go ahead and put the link to his channel in the description box in the event that some of you guys may not be familiar. You know, it really takes a lot, not only time and dedication, but, I mean, thought even, to sit here and add commentaries that are upwards of 15 minutes. One thing that I've said plenty of times in the past is that, you know, despite people all having their own opinions, I really respect commentators. For one reason, you know, one thing I like to say, because, you know, I hear a lot of people say, you know, like they always make it a point to say, although I don't agree with everything they say, you know, as if to suggest, you know, the only time you'll like someone is that, you know, when you do that. I never kind of understood that, because naturally you're not going to agree with everything that everyone says. But the thing is about commentators, you know, they really have to get out there and they have to stick to their guns. You know, like I've said plenty of times in the past, you have to be pretty secure in your own opinions and the positions that you hold and in the things that they say and the things that you say. And you also have to be able to articulate an explanation for a lot of things. Because, you know, a lot of times, you know, may it be differences in personality, may it be sarcasm, you know, that some people may hear in your voice. Some people, you know, they misunderstand what you're trying to say because they're blinded by, I mean, let's just say a little jokes, a little satire, or whatever the case may be. So a lot of times, instead of actually listening to the content of what's being said, you know, they're too busy listening to, you know, or getting upset at perhaps something that they didn't like, you know, or something that perhaps they didn't see. So, you know, if you're going to be a commentator, like I've said plenty of times before, I really respect a lot of those guys out there, because it really takes a lot to deal with a lot of these opinions, you know, because, you know, I'm pretty sure all of the commentators out there, you know, Warchild, Fox from Foxio Games, you know, Sunlight Blade, a lot of these guys, and even some of the Twitch streamers, I'm pretty sure that a lot of those guys can attest to the fact that their comment section, and a lot of times, are littered with just some crazy comments, you know. And you know, I can kind of understand if you're kind of new to commentary, you know, you kind of might be a little sensitive to it, right? Because perhaps you never received that type of attention in the past. So, you know, enough about that. Like I said before, go ahead and check out Warchild's channel. It's a great channel. It's got a wide variety of information, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys will definitely be entertained, not only by the visuals, not only by the PvP, not only by the fight clubs, the new game challenges, the Demon Souls walkthroughs, but also all the things that he has to say with regards to both Souls games. Right, so not only to Warchild, but like I said before, shout out to all of the commentators out there. I really appreciate all you guys' efforts, and I'm pretty sure that your subs appreciate those efforts as well. Alright, so enough of the long rant. Right, now, as long as I've known Warchild, I've always known him to be rocking the medium rolled build. And another thing I know about Warchild, I mean, kind of going into it, I kind of figured to myself that he would be rocking a Leo ring, right? Because in a lot of cases, whenever you're medium rolling, I mean, that's in my personal opinion and based upon my own experience, you know, rocking the Leo, it kind of evens out the pace in certain fights. You know, case in point, let's say you're a medium roller, and let's just say you're faced against a guy who's rocking a Darkwood Grain ring. Now, fighting a guy with a Darkwood Grain ring, well, first off, it's tough enough for a guy fast rolling, let alone medium rolling or even fat boy rolling. But, you know, whenever you're medium rolling and you're faced against one of these guys that can basically just run circles around you, sometimes you need an equalizer. And, you know, to some players, that equalizer for a medium rolling build could be a Leo ring. Right, so one thing I had in mind even before I got into the matches, I said, you know what? If I see a lot of halberd usage, rapier usage, balder side sword usage, I can bet for the most part two fat babies to a donut that he's probably going to be rocking a Leo ring build. So, you know, based upon some of the weapons that he were using, you know, I kind of had to pick and choose how aggressive I would be. You know, because I've heard a lot of people say, Brigade, I mean, you're kind of aggressive. I don't really know about that. I played a lot of aggressive players. I really don't see myself as being aggressive. But to those who thought that I was aggressive, you know, I've heard a lot of people say, dude, you're kind of aggressive. And a lot of times, the Leo ring, you know, a Leo ring build, you know, can really slow down any aggressive player. Don't believe me? Grab a Leo ring and a halberd, you know, or maybe even an S-stock or balder side sword, and just face yourself against a super aggressive player. And I can almost guarantee that after one or two counters, they're going to slow that pace down, because after they see how hard those hits hurt, I can almost guarantee that they're going to calm down with their aggressive attacks. Now, like I said before, I'm not really sure what kind of build he's using, you know, because medium rolled builds can be so versatile. You know, you can rock strength weapons, you can rock quality weapons, dexterity weapons, you can do the whole nine. But since he's doing a lot of those R2s with the Yuki, I have reason to believe that he's probably using a lot of Leo ring weapon combinations. Right, because if you notice, he's doing a lot of these R2s, and a lot of these R2s benefit mostly from the Leo ring. So he got a good win right there in the GG. Now, granted, he mixes it up a little bit. As a matter of fact, I think in the middle of the fights, he made mention of a build that he has that had, you know, 62 strength. 62 strength. And, you know, when he mentioned it, you know, I kind of want to say, dude, I mean, what in the world kind of build could you have that requires? And actually, I can't even say that it requires. Because I think the weapon that has the highest minimum strength requirement is, I think, Smo's hammer. So I can't even say that it requires that much. I was just kind of thinking to myself, like, dude, I mean, what kind of build did you have that that you thought to invest 62 points into strength? I mean, that's probably a high-speed build there. And he was just basically saying, well, you know, that's kind of like my strength build. I kind of do a lot of things with it. So I do know one of the builds that he was messing around with has 62 in strength. But the other build, like I said before, the other variation, since a lot of times he's doing medium rolling, or in some cases even fat rolling, because of that, it's kind of hard to tell what he's doing, right? Because like I said before, medium rollers, fat rollers, both of them have the potential to use pretty much all the weapons. You can use anything. Whereas with a Darkwood Grain Ring using build, or even a fast rolling build, you can kind of narrow it down to the type of build that you're faced against. Because think about it. If you're fast rolling, you don't really have all that versatility with regard to using a lot of different weapons. Now granted, I do have a 40-40 build that has 45 in endurance, and I can use a lot of weapons. But when it comes to the heavier weapons, matter of fact, any weapon that is over 16 units, I cannot use. So even if an opponent were to fight me and they were to say, you know what, I think that guy's a strength build, but you know what, maybe not, because the heaviest weapon that I've seen him use so far is the Black Knight Great Axe. Right, so just kind of paying attention, especially in some of the cases where you're fighting the same person over and over again, you can pretty much narrow down what type of build your opponent is using. And you know, with the faster your opponent moves, the more you can kind of accurately get an idea as to what type of build they're using. Because think about it, let's just say you're facing against a guy using a Darkwood Grain Ring. Well, just think about the limitations. Now, unless you're rocking a Havelmommers, I mean, even if you're rocking a Havelmom, they still have limitations. So, you know, just think about it. You're faced against a Ninja Flipper. And depending upon the type of armor that your opponent is using, because they need to Ninja Flip, it kind of greatly reduces the options with regard to weapons. Because not only weapon effectiveness, you also have to consider scaling. So that's why in a lot of these times, whenever you see these guys rocking the Darkwood Grain Ring, you know, very rare do you see them rocking something like a Black Knight Great Axe. You know, in most cases, you'll see them rocking something like, obviously, a katana, right? Because you only need to increase one attribute to get maximum scaling, you know, which that would be dexterity, obviously. Maybe a Darkwood Grain Ring strength build. Right, because with a lot of the strength weapons, you only have to invest 10 in dexterity, and the rest you can just dump points into faith. And you know, in other cases, even an intelligence build. You know, one wherein you're rocking the Moonlight Greatsword because you only have to invest points into intelligence. So you know, like I said before, the faster you see a build moving, it's kind of real easy to tell what kind of build they're rocking. Right, but with builds like this, you know, the fast roller, the medium roller, you know, they have so many options that you can never quite narrow down what exactly they're going to do. Alright, so enough about that. Like I said before, I'm going to go ahead and put a link to Warchild's channel in the description box. And actually, this series of matches is basically a long time coming. Now, you know, one thing that I'll say, you know, because sometimes I'll get people leaving comments in the comment section asking me, you know, why don't I fight certain personalities or certain uploaders or certain individuals, period. And one thing that these guys need to keep in mind, right? Number one, a lot of us do have personal lives. Right? I know a lot of us upload, but we still have personal lives. So in other words, we can't just sit, you know, with a controller in our hand, just standing by and waiting to fight people. It's not always that convenient. Number two, you guys also have to keep in mind, right? Because, you know, I've had guys who, some of them may live in time zones that are plus 5 hours ahead of me. Or, in the event of, let's just say Blue B and Eric Arianto, and I'm not talking about them, I'm just giving examples. I have some guys who live in time zones who live, plus 12 hours ahead of me. So, to some of the people who, may be anxious to watch me have a series of fights against certain personalities, and maybe, you may think to yourself like, well, I wonder why he's not doing this. You guys need to keep in mind that, it is not easy setting up matches. It's definitely not easy. You have to coordinate. You have to make sure that both participants have free time. Right? Because in a lot of these cases, it can take upwards of an hour of just sitting here. You have to wait on summoning. I know you guys may only see 16 or 20 or even 25 minutes, but usually a 25 minute video full of PvP, in a lot of cases, took more than an hour and a half, right? Because you have to delete wait times, you have to delete everything else. So, for all of you guys that are making all these suggestions, because I get them all the time. Come on, guy, why don't you fight this dude? Or why don't you fight that dude? Please keep in mind that there's so many things to, consider when setting up these matches that is not always convenient at the time that some people may want it. Right, which is why whenever I finally get somebody in here, I am very much appreciative for the time that they took to express interest into any particular video series that I have. May it be Battle of the Uploaders, Rumble of the Jungle, regardless of what it is, I really appreciate it. So, once again, I'd like to offer my thanks and show of appreciation to good old Warchild, and I'll leave a link to his channel in the description box. And until next time, Martyrs Brigade.